just from a more conscious perspective. Because remember, it's not always about what we accomplished, it's who we became in the process. And one thing I know for sure, if you're listening to this, you're definitely stronger and better and wanting to make positive shifts in your own life and looking for ways that worked for you from a place of the glass always being full with water, being full with air, and it's 100% life-giving. And what we could do to have that 100% life-giving force into the new year. Hey, I'm Jade Elysan, a multi-passionate creative based out of New York City who's obsessed with personal development and anything business, from marketing, branding, creating online programs to launches, and helping you step into your true self so that you can share your gifts with the world. Gain insights with manifesting, creating life on purpose, and get ready to elevate yourself in ways that will surprise even you. Included in your weekly dose of inspiration, get ready to be entertained, uplifted, and encouraged to take action with simple and easy to apply tips, tools, and strategies that fit into your busy daily life, sprinkled with some woo-woo along the way. From embracing your confidence to mastering success habits, setting achievable goals, and ways to harness positive mindsets and beliefs so that you can kick self-doubt and your inner critic to the curb where they belong. Whatever's on the topic call sheet, I'll help you navigate the raw, messy, and sometimes hilarious truths of achieving success, abundance, and happiness, all while encouraging you to become the best version of yourself. So think of me as your go-to girlfriend, talking over some coffee, getting real, and giving you some amazing advice to go from hot mess to thriving success. This is the Uber Savvy Life and Biz podcast. Hey, welcome back to the Uber Savvy Life and Biz podcast, where together we'll unlock your true potential to design the life and business of your dreams. I'm your host, Jade Elysan, and today is a super special episode because it is the second to last episode of season 1, which is absolutely bonkers. When I started this podcast back in the summer, I knew that it was going to be a seasonal podcast. I just didn't know when I was going to be able to stop season 1 because I wanted to keep showing up and bringing you incredible content with amazing guests. And that's what I continued to do as much as I could throughout this first season. So this is a really cool episode. It's a little shorter than my other episodes, but it's going to bring you a lot of value and ways that you could look back at 2023 and bring with you into 2024 the things that worked, leave behind what didn't work, and also things that you could celebrate. So this is the 3 best ways to recap 2023, at least the 3 best ways that I came up with that feel good when you do it. Because sometimes when you peel back the layers and you look into what was mostly good in the year that just passed, it helps you kind of reframe things and allows you to step into a more clear version for the upcoming year and bring with you forward that which works. So when I say mostly good things to look back to at the year, it was a really crazy year energetically. Everyone I spoke to had some ups and some really crazy downs. I know that I went through a lot this year between caring for my older pup, Lacey, who I spoke about in the first episode. She left in May. She was 15 years old. She was my best friend. She was my little furry kitty, and I love her and I think of her every single day. And then within a few months, Marley, my 18-year-old cat, left Earth, and then Hannah, his sister, left a couple months later. So to have that shift, there was something going on majorly in the world energetically that maybe we don't see with our eyes and our senses, but you could feel it. You could just feel that something's going on. And there's a lot of light workers and very conscious thought leaders that are there to reel things back and remind you that you have the power to shift your focus on what you do want more of. But on the flip side, a lot of good things did happen. Like Cooper, my older Boston Terrier, he's becoming more well-behaved. And he has a new little sister, Kaylee, who I've shared with you in other episodes. And she's just about 7 months old, and she is amazing. I adore her so much, and I'm so thankful when I see them play and have fun with each other. I felt like this would be a really good second to last episode for the season because it's a good way to look back at 2023 from a higher perspective and a clearer energy so that we could have a more conscious approach to 2024. But before jumping in, if you would like weekly inspiration and would like to stay updated when I release new episodes, check out jadeelysan.com and sign up for the VIP Insider List, where you'll get access to your Empowered Morning Mindset checklist, an awesome download you'll get completely free just for signing up, which will give you your ultimate caffeine-free boost to supercharge your mornings for success. And also, when I come up with new freebies, you'll be on the VIP Insider List to get those as well. So when I was sitting with myself, coming up with a topic to share with you for this episode, I thought to myself, well, what really resonated with me with my mentors and coaches that I've worked with this last year? And a lot of reflection has been the theme of what works and what doesn't work. And the reason I share that is because we have different areas of our life that are really important to us. So if you could kind of see it as like a trio diagram, like a pyramid, you would have, your health and body, it may be the top of the pyramid. You might have relationships and personal life on like the left or right of the lower pyramid, and you might have money and business on the other side, or it might be money and business on top. It might be relationships on the one side, and then it might be health on the other, or you could flip that and do relationships on top. For me this year, I went on massive overdrive with creating and focusing on building out my business and the foundational aspect of my online business more so. So if you're a creative or you're more artistically inclined, or maybe you're just really into personal fitness and health, or really understanding relationships and the dynamics of personalities and how you could better bond and connect with others, whatever that is, that's what I really want to help kind of uncover in this episode. So for me, for instance, I felt super one-sided with creative mode, meaning like whichever of those areas you could look back to in terms of that pyramid and be like, oh, it was definitely one-sided with this, or you had a good balance. This recap is really meant for you to see what you could let go of, what might have worked but didn't bring as much fulfillment as you thought it would, and what's working so that we could be more conscious about that and strategic in bringing it into 2024 to create more space into this new year that's coming. So as I mentioned, for me, this past year was very creatively focused. What that looks like is, for me, I was really creating the roots of my online business. And I was very one-sided on the production mode and wasn't necessarily focused as much as I could have been to nurture my online programs and my live programs, as well as my coaching clients who I just really love so much. I have group coaching clients as well as my one-on-one clients. And when I say that I was very creatively focused and it was very one-sided, I mean the production part of my business in terms of starting to write my book as a base, then going into wanting to pitch my book and work with an actual publishing house, because I know that working with a publisher will kind of put that fire under my butt and get the book done. So I created a 99-page book proposal. And that was all through the first 6 months of the year when Lacey was alive, and I was doing my best to keep her alive and care for her, but she couldn't walk. She was in one of those doggy wheelchairs, and she could only use her front paws for as long as she could, as long as she had that ability to keep herself up. And that was very one-sided as well. I was very focused on that. And when it came time to shift and share my message and ways that I could create more connection with you and a greater community who resonates with the messages that I share in this podcast, I shifted right after Lacey left immediately into working with a team to launch my podcast, that we worked together and put our podcast out. And it was really great to have that team there. But then I learned all of the aspects that I needed to in terms of recording and filming and editing on my own. And I thought, I could do this. So I've shared in several episodes that I've been going back and forth with looking for that editor who I'm going to be working with. And because the way the podcast is, it just really took over my life. And I'll get more into that in just a moment. But it's kind of like no one person is their own island. So when it comes to wanting to share your message or create something that's going to have a steady base and grow, you need help. You need a team. And that's something that I'm going to be working on in 2024. But let's jump in to the 3 best ways to recap 2023. So the first best way to recap 2023 are things to let go of. Maybe looking at parts of your life that didn't go as planned that really mattered to you. So I'm going to be speaking more about like the creation and business side of things, but this could really relate to you when it comes to your health as well, or fitness activities that you were really focused on this year. Or maybe you were just putting yourself out there this year to find that match, that soulmate of yours. Whichever is going to resonate with you, just kind of keep that in the forefront, like that top of the pyramid, as I go through these next 3 best ways to recap 2023. So as I mentioned, things to let go of, projects that didn't go as planned. So for me, overdoing the creative aspect of my business and not focusing on activities that could build my business and build my expertise as a money mindset coach and a confidence on camera coach, and infusing those together, because what really matters to me is helping entrepreneurs online and coaches online create programs where they're able to articulately share what it is that they offer, but also make those offers and share their pricing in a way. I don't want to say sales, but that's what it really comes down to when you're sharing your program and you're speaking to your ideal client. It's not going to feel like a sale, but you should be able to speak about your program and your pricing of your program in a confident way. So that's why money mindset really matters to me. And that's why I went through my certification as a money breakthrough business coach and also a money archetypes coach, which I've been sharing about in the past couple episodes. And those really excite me. So I'll get to that in just a moment. But when you look at things that really didn't work, things to let go of, like things that maybe you invested in that didn't create a return on your investment, you could look at it like, well, were you able to fully give your time to that? Or was the stress of what was going on in the world or your job pulling your attention away? So it's kind of like looking at that and saying, well, maybe I could revisit it this coming year. And maybe I just have to let go of other things that were taking my attention so that I could refocus back on this. So as I mentioned, for you, if it's your health or your fitness or even relationships, you could even look out just generally and see that there was a lot of changes in interest this year. And maybe you might feel like you're with a completely new group of friends, or maybe you withdrew from the other group that you were going to more frequently. Maybe because you had ups and downs in your communications with loved ones, or just now your journeys are different because your interests lay in different things. It doesn't mean that you don't love each other anymore. It just means you're focused on other things. There's this really funny quote from Tia Leone in the movie Family Man with Nicolas Cage, who I love that movie. It's an older movie. But if you check out Family Man, there's a part later in the movie where Tia Leone, she's just like, I don't care, I'm going to Paris. And I just translate that as like, you know what? Cool, we have each other and we built what we could, but let's see what we could build on our own. And like, let's see where we're headed, you know? Maybe for your fitness, maybe you started a new fitness routine that didn't necessarily work for you, or maybe you didn't hit that fitness goal and that coach or that path wasn't necessarily the best thing for you. My hubby, for instance, he was working with a bodybuilding coach because he was planning to compete this year. But because of the stress at home with our older pup, Lacey, and him running his barbershop and being the head barber at the barbershop that is his business, on top of all of the other activities that require a business owner, he was overdoing the fitness routine in terms of like his cardio and his weight training. And he was overdoing his energy in the sense that he was really gassing out and not being able to bring home his highest and best self a lot of the time. So he's kind of like looking back at that and letting go what's not working for him. So whichever area in your life really stands out to you, that was something that mattered to you, but you're like, you know, I really need to let go of that. Maybe you could just look at it as a way that you could retweak something and try something new. You know, instead of saying, I'm going to go to the gym 5 days a week, maybe say, I'm going to go to the gym 3 days a week. Or instead of saying, I'm going to hit cardio 30 minutes every day for 6 days a week, just go back to like the basics and start slow and then work yourself up so that you're not burning your energy out. Starting 10 minutes a day, 3 times a week, no matter what. 10 minutes a day, 3 times a week, no matter what. And I say no matter what because I even walk my pups when it's raining because I have to, because they have to go outside. And that brings us to the second best way to recap 2023. And that's things that worked but didn't bring as much fulfillment that you can tweak, which I just kind of shared with you at the end of that first one. This could be creating a new part of your business. For me, creating the podcast worked. I really loved it. I loved coming up with the episodes and the topics. I love getting feedback from you. I love the incredible guests that I had on this season and hearing their stories. It was very inspiring. And when I say things that work but didn't bring much fulfillment, and I use the podcast as an example, the first part of the creation mode of the podcast was fulfilling. The second part, which wasn't as fulfilling that I could definitely tweak, is the post-production. I went back and forth several times, like I said, with an editor. And the reason I was unable to really lock in the editor season 1 is because of my filming schedule and getting the recordings well ahead of time to the editor. So I started doing the post-production for many of the episodes 15 to sometimes 20 hours a week. That's practically a part-time job on top of everything else that I'm doing, showing up to other parts of my business and even showing up to when my agents have roles for me to audition for. I had a really great commercial that I didn't really share with you earlier. I think I shared with you that I had a commercial, but I would share with you when it came out. And it's a national Ford commercial. That's a car commercial. It's out right now during, I believe it's showing on like football Sundays. I play the mom. I'm in a green sweater and it's like a holiday family. So if you see the holiday Ford commercial that's out this year, whenever you listen to this, you could just Google the year and the holiday Ford commercial that came out. It's Make the Holidays Bright. And that is myself playing the mom. But I had to make time for that. When I filmed that particular commercial, it was really hard to do the post-production for the podcast that came out that week. So batching your content would be a good tweak to get yourself more clear in the new year when it comes to what you could recap and do better. So things that worked but didn't bring much fulfillment that you could tweak. The part, like I said, that didn't bring much fulfillment was the post-production. And that's because I'm not the expert in post-production for the audio editing. Even though I make it sound as great as I can, there's audio editors who are fantastic that could make it sound even better. So for you, you might think, well, things that worked but weren't bringing you much fulfillment. I know my hubby, he was like, well, it worked that he was going to the gym and sticking to his eating plan and doing his cardio plan, but it wasn't giving him much fulfillment in the sense of feeling like he had time and space for other parts of his life. Like he would be so gassed out. Like I said, he'd come home and I would just be, a babbling brook talking a mile a minute when he'd come home and he's like, I just need a minute. And like, then it would just be so quiet on his side and then I'd be talking and then I'd feel like there wasn't much balance in that, if that makes any sense. So looking back at the year of what worked and being like, all right, it worked, but it didn't bring much fulfillment, but I still want to do that thing, just how you could tweak it. So for me, I'm tweaking the podcast by taking a break and making sure that I batch all of my episodes ahead of time, or at least 4 to 6 ahead of time so that I could give the new season to an editor that I work with and that I could be well ahead and that there's a lot of space in between. And for you, that might mean looking into your fitness routine or your health routine, what's working, but how you could tweak it so that you could still have that energy and show up to other parts of your life. And that brings us to the middle of the episode. If you are enjoying this episode, if you could share it with 3 friends who you feel would like the topics discussed in this episode, that would be awesome because you never know who you can uplift. And if you're loving it and would like to give it 5 stars on the podcast app that you're listening on, it just helps get in front of more like-minded listeners like yourself and will allow me to continue to bring great new content like this in upcoming seasons. And also some cool news is that the Money Archetypes quiz that I will be launching will soon be posted on my website. So make sure you jump onto the VIP insider list at jadeelysan.com because my VIP insiders who are on my email will be the first ones to take that money personality quiz. And then you get to learn how your top money archetype affects all the different areas of your life, especially if you're an online coach or someone who shows up on camera. Money has an energy that affects how we show up. So knowing your money personality with your offers and create programs that speak directly to your ideal clients, it's super game changing. And make sure you sign up for the VIP insider list because it is going to be that thing to help you break through that glass ceiling and show up confidently in any area that matters to you. And the third and last best way to recap 2023 is things to do more of. Weekly wins, monthly wins. I've shared this in so many episodes. When you make space and look over what you've accomplished in your week, even if you walk 2 to 3 days of that week, or you spent one day of your time refining your programs or working on your checkout page, if you're an online coach, that's a win. If you're writing an episode for a podcast, that's a win. If you're able to balance out your week and have your health, your business, and your friendships all there, that's a win. I mean, that's a really great way to have a balanced week, is having all those aspects. And then also having your monthly wins. This is for sure something to do more of. Looking back at your weeks. And for me, I have this journal where I write my daily thank yous, things I'm looking forward to in a day, and things that I appreciated that I did in a day. It's kind of like when you look back at your monthly wins and when you sit down on a cozy Sunday with some hot chocolate and you're just feeling warm and cozy under that blanket on the couch and you look over your weekly wins, you're giving yourself that time to really see the things that did make a difference. You know, it could be as simple as getting a call from a friend who you haven't heard from in a long time. It could be that you made a really special dinner for a loved one and you're like, wow, I'm still a great cook. And it's been a long time since you've cooked. Or you could even just count things like how many times you laughed that month, or what was the funniest thing that happened that particular month. For me, a lot of the funny things that happen usually are associated with movie night and looking back at different things that my hubby and I watched, because we love comedy and we love romantic comedy. So rom-com is a genre that we absolutely enjoy watching because it's like silly. It's not too serious. We understand the humor a lot of times in those type of movies. And also something to do more of is to plan more fun. Looking back and seeing all the fun things that you did this year, the nights that you had with your friends laughing, maybe you went rafting, or maybe you went to a new town and had dinner by the river. Just looking at things to do more of that bring you more fun, bring you that enlivening feeling that you want to do more of. Here are some ideas that you could do. I mean, obviously, we only have a week left of this year, but you could do into the winter. This fits in perfectly because this is things to do more of. And these are fun ideas that you could do throughout the winter. You could look for roof deck ice skating in a city that's close to you to have that really gorgeous view. You could look for holiday villages in your local towns or major cities nearby so that you could see the pretty holiday lights that are still up. Even look for areas that might have snow, that have sleigh rides or tubing down the mountain. Be careful, of course, but doing some outdoor activities like that, or hot tubs in the cold. Or if you prefer inside activities, go roller skating with a group of friends or do gaming parties. There's this place by me that they have like old fashioned board games. There was a bar, and then they have like 4 or 5 video game consoles where you could play like old fashioned video games, like the original PlayStation or that dance off game or something like that. So look for things in your local town that you could do more of. And I know that this isn't necessarily like business stuff or with your health, but when I think of things to do more of, I like to think of things that enliven my energy and bring happiness, because that's what's going to keep us going and what's going to keep us fueled to keep doing what we do when we show up at work or when we're working on our health. It's these fun things that make life those moments that you look back to and remember. Some other things that you could do inside, which I've done, are rock climbing. There's places that you can go rock climbing inside, or go-kart racing. That's super fun. Indoor skydiving, I haven't done yet, but I definitely would like to try. And those indoor trampoline parks, like all of these things I've done and are super fun, which all falls into things to do more of. And I'd love to leave you with this incredible quote. Let's do what we love and let's do a lot of it. Mark Jacobs. So just to recap, the 3 best ways to recap 2023 is the first one are things to let go of, the areas of your life that maybe you were just too one-sided for trying to accomplish a goal. Maybe it was a fitness or health goal that you were really trying to reach a certain goal but didn't get there, and that you really pushed yourself energetically and it didn't give you the results that you wanted. So you could let go of that and maybe just look for ways to reassess it. For myself, it was overworking and focusing too much on the creation part of my business and not necessarily nurturing all of my incredible clients and my group programs and my one-on-one programs, which really fuels me and brings me a lot more of that connection that I really love so much, that immediate transformation and ability to help others step into their light so that they could share their gifts with their clients in their programs and on camera, and ways to increase their money vibes so that they feel confident when sharing their programs as well. And then that second best way to recap 2023 is things that worked but didn't bring much fulfillment that you could tweak. For myself, like I shared, it was doing the podcast. I absolutely loved creating the podcast, coming up with the ideas, having the incredible guests, sharing their stories of their journeys and where they started to get to where they are. But I definitely could tweak the post-production for sure, getting myself super organized, giving myself space for season 2 so that I could batch my recording sessions and then have that so that I could send that off to an incredible editor and be well ahead, because that post-production of 15 to 20 hours afterwards, there's incredible audio editors who would be much happier to take over that part that would be so much better at doing that. That didn't necessarily bring me that much fulfillment to do the audio editing, even though I did my very best that I could, but would bring somebody else so much more fulfillment, if that makes any sense. And then the third best way to recap 2023 is to look at things that you could do more of. If you were really great at balancing your business, health, and friendships, do more of that. For myself, I really love to look at the weekly wins that I had, things that worked in the week, and even more so, those bigger monthly wins. I just like to chill out at the end of the month on a rainy Sunday with a warm, cozy blanket, some hot chocolate or some hot tea, and just look back at my month view and see what really worked and what fueled me as well. And it's really the things that make me laugh that I would like to do more of. And that really has to do with like date night and those romantic comedy movies, those rom-com movies, hanging out with friends, laughing, sharing ideas. And some of the things that I shared with you that you could do, things to do more of, are like literal activities, like find roof deck ice skating or Holiday Village to walk around, especially if you listen to this at this time of year. There's so many adorable local cities and major cities that have the gorgeous holiday lights to just go and like feel like you're in this winter wonderland. I really love that so much. If you want to do more activities inside, you could find roller skating or game parties or do rock climbing. Obviously, be careful and do what's best for your physical activity. Just doing more things that enliven you and bring you fun and that you really enjoy doing, because that's really a great way to recap 2023 and this past year, just from a more conscious perspective. Because remember, it's not always about what we accomplished, it's who we became in the process. And one thing I know for sure, if you're listening to this, you're definitely stronger and better and wanting to make positive shifts in your own life and looking for ways that worked for you from a place of the glass always being full with water, being full with air, and it's 100% life-giving. And what we could do to have that 100% life-giving force into the new year. So regardless of what was accomplished or the ups and downs of the energies in the world, it just all added to that incredible person in the mirror called you. So I just want you to remember that. And there will be one more episode to end season 1. So definitely look out for that. But that's about it. And thank you so much for tuning in to the Uber Savvy Life and Biz podcast. That was awesome. I appreciate you so much. Stay committed to your vision, take consistent action, and know that great things are on the other side of that door. Because remember, only you hold the key to unlock your dream life. So why not start today? I'll see you next time. Thanks so much. Can I just say, you're awesome. You just finished an episode of the Uber Savvy Life and Biz podcast. If you like this episode, feel free to leave a nice review and rate it 5 stars if you found it helpful. But if not, please don't rate it 4 stars. Just ignore this part. However, if you did like it, make sure you share it with a friend who may find some value in the topics discussed today. Be sure to share it with them because you never know who you could uplift. Also, if you want more, check out the show notes in the description, which would include any links that may have been mentioned in this episode. Are you still listening? Are you waiting for a blooper reel? That'd be a really fun idea to throw in at times. But seriously, Are you tired of foggy mornings? Go to jadeellison.com to grab your ultimate caffeine-free boost to supercharge your mornings for success. That's right, your empowered morning mindset checklist. Your great day is just a thought away. This is gonna be fun. If you ever knew anyone who works their asses off, it would be me. And it's always when the fucking planes go. What the F, yo? What the F, yo? It's like I'm right on the bottom of a freaking flight pattern, but then they don't go all day. And then all of a sudden they're just like, I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna go now. And I'm like, why do you have to go now? Why? There was a movie, gosh, what was it? Was it Saving Sarah Silverman? And the girl was like, you know why. Or it was the guy, you know why. Anyway, cool. Let's do this to this. OMG. Second to last episode of season 1. This is insane. Let's see what happens, teams. Yeah. Are you ready? Word. If anybody stayed to listen to this, I appreciate you. I'm not sure if season 2 is going to have the bloopers or the hooks. Just so you know. Really depends on the editor that I begin working with. And really, it's just best to be on the VIP insider list because honestly, there is no set date that season 2 is coming out. I know season 2 is definitely going to be filmed and recorded, so it might be spring. I'm not sure I'll do a summer launch. I did a summer launch this past season. It might even go into fall, but if I could get it to you in the spring, that would be cool. But it might be a later season 2. Some podcasters actually are so good, they'll end of season 1 and then it goes right into season 2. That is not likely going to be what happens with this podcast. I have to create massive space so that I can give to my incredible group clients and coaching clients, my one-on-one and my programs, because that's really what I want to focus on rolling out. So I have my Melt Your Money Blocks programs and understanding your money archetype and how your money archetypes and personality really affect how you show up on camera in terms of your offers and programs, especially when it comes to speaking virtually on stage. For a lot of my clients who are online coaches, it's not knowing when to share their offer. And then some don't even have their offer. And I'm so I decided to revamp Spotlight Your Biz on Camera 2.0 to make sure that they have that solid, full suite of support, if that makes any sense. So if you heard all this, thank you so much. And I will see you in the last episode, or you'll hear me in the last episode. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.